Bethesda has unveiled Fallout 76, which takes their classic open but pretty burnt world and fills it with real-life humans. Yes, it's an online survival game, and it's fair to say it has upset a large chunk of people who want a more traditional adventure. The terrible fence-sitter that I am, I'm waiting to try Fallout 76 for myself before offering judgment, but in the meantime, I've scoured the trailer for every drop of hidden information, from new enemies to the location of the vault. Here's what you might have missed.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Let's kick off with the location of Vault 76. If the teaser trailer's use of John Denver's country road wasn't enough of a giveaway, Todd Howard confirmed that we are heading to West Virginia, and a big old chunk of it to boot. Yes, this is the largest Fallout map to date, 4 times bigger than Fallout 4's Commonwealth. Presumably the 76 in the title also stands for the number of shoes you'll destroy walking from one side to the other. But we can get more specific than this. Howard mentioned that the map is split into 6 regions. Pause during one Vault Tech cartoon and we see their names: Toxic Valley, The Forest, Ash Heap, Savage Divide, The Mire, and Cranberry Bog. Of the 6 of these, only the last seems to be based on real-life West Virginia, a portion of marshland known as Cranberry Glades. Wikipedia says it's home to skunk cabbage, which sounds awful. Vault 76 is right in the middle of the forest region. If we look at the promotional map included in the special edition, we can see that it's just east of the Mothman Museum, which is found in real-life Point Pleasant. That's just north of Charleston, which is where we see the nuke drop during the presentation. So as soon as that vault door opens, we're making a beeline for this city to the south. Hopefully we'll get there before the bombs drop. One of the big questions around the game is what will happen to the VAT system now that Fallout 76 is online. As fans know, VATs let you slow time to strategically target your shots, but in a world with lots of human players, you can't be stopping time every time someone wants to pull the trigger. It looks like VATs is gone, but this doesn't mean the game is removing action points, which were previously used to pay for attacks when time paused. Look at this shot of the power armor, and you can see the AP gauge is still in play. In fact, the interface is reused in its entirety from Fallout 4. You'd think that because this was earlier in the Fallout timeline, the suit would be at least a little cleaner. We imagine action points will again be used for jetpacks and fun things like that. The AP bar is missing from the regular interface. It would normally be in the bottom right, but we do see it pop up during the sniping shot. AP is clearly still used to hold your breath. Looking further at the interface, we also spy a thirst and hunger meter when the character is setting up their camp. Howard calls the game softcore survival, which means death doesn't wipe your progress, but that doesn't mean you can ignore a rumbling tummy. Both Fallout 4's survival mode and New Vegas' hardcore mode introduced thirst and hunger for people who wanted a challenge, but it looks to play a more common role here. If you played out Fallout 4's survival mode, you'll know that icons popped up when you reach certain levels of hunger or dehydration. It's much neater having a proper bar to chart the progress here. Here's hoping one of your co-op friends has a rucksack full of squirrel on a stick.
There's plenty of cool new Fallout creatures.
One of Todd Howard's quirkier announcements is that some Fallout 76 enemies will be based on local folklore. The obvious example in the trailer is the Beast of Grafton, based on the real-life, by which I mean totally fictional, Grafton monster. But there are more urban legends hidden throughout the demo. Here we see the Snallygaster, which is a mythical dragon that people believe lives in central Maryland. Legend says it's half reptile, half bird, but I'm only interested in which half you're going to hit with a spiked club. West Virginia is also home to the Flatwoods monster, a curious beast with glowing eyes. Could it be this thing? The Flatwoods monster is thought to be extraterrestrial in nature, so this alien banshee enemy could be a contender too. In fact, this alien beast seems important, as it's also one of the 6 toys included in the special edition. A quick shout out for this huge sloth monster. This isn't a folklore, but a reference to the giant ground sloth, a now extinct creature that is celebrated as the official state fossil of West Virginia. I didn't even know American states had official fossils. There's also a spider with a hornet's nest for a butt. If this is based on folklore, I don't care to hear that story.
In Vault 76, our future begins.
Part of the fun with any Fallout game is visiting the abandoned skeleton of the old world, and a quick trip through the trailer shows some of the places we'll be visiting. Here we see the Gold Dome of West Virginia's state capital. Probably some expensive loot in there. We also want to get looting in the Greenbrier Resort, which has 710 hotel rooms in reality, which should keep you busy. We'll also take a trip to West Virginia University. There's got to be some scientific resources to pillage there. We also spot Camden Park in the footage, though the real Camden Park mascot has been swapped for this bear thing. It seems that your character is also a fan. The mascot is seen in your Vault 76 bedroom. Of course, the most important question is, have Bethesda included West Virginia's legendary world's largest teapot? I ain't buying it if I can't kill mole rats in the shadow of a giant teapot.
Oh, finally! I feared you'd never wake up.
Here's an interesting thing. When your character is heading for the vault exit, you can spy a job station complete with leaflets in one of the halls. Could this be a modification of the traditional perk system, which is normally used to govern your character's abilities? The poster tells you to pick a job, study, graduate, and work, while this poster has jobs that sound a lot like character classes. It says you can be an educator, a public safety worker, a marketing specialist, a healthcare professional, a pest control professional, a building construction and design worker, or a technician and mechanic. Most of these would have obvious perks attached, such as healthcare or being better at fighting creatures you meet. Others would tie into new systems. The marketing specialist seems to be a role based around trade, and you can trade with human players as shown by this option in the communications wheel. The game's building component, where you set up new camps, also seems to be limited by character perks. You need a level 3 home defense skill to build this missile turret, for example, and you can't build a medical store without level 1 first aid. It raises the idea that to build an optimal base with access to every item available, you might need to work with people with other specializations. Could be a great way to build community spirit.
Document your adventures.
You can get snap happy in Fallout 76 with a new photo mode. What better way is there to capture all that color and autumnal foliage than to immortalize it with a pretty filter? You can use the camera to take your own profile pic, change your facial expression and pose for the picture. You can even toggle your avatar off entirely if you're camera shy. You can frame photos and brighten it up in case those bleak mushroom cloud skies are getting you down. Makes for the perfect addition to squad play? Goals? I know I made use of this kind of thing in Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn constantly to remember all those amazing moments shared between friends in a fictional world. What can I say? Sentimentality goes a long way. I spied that the pose category is listed as standard, which could mean there are more pose collections to unlock or buy, perhaps? Or it could just be a really unimaginative name for a category of poses. Either way, say radiated cheese. Fallout 76 is the prequel to all the other games, and Todd Howard says we'll be stepping out into a very different, untamed wasteland. But what does this really mean? To cast an eye over the trailer, there's not a lot of visual difference from the later games. Maybe there's some more colour to the world, there are lots of trees and forests in what's been shown so far, but it isn't a radical change. One element that did jump out at us is the presence of a ghoul commander. It's odd to see a ghoul in an army uniform, and with an army rank, as these creatures don't show any of this behaviour when we meet them in later games. As we're closer to the time that ended the world as we know it, are we going to see different takes on old favourites? And are we going to birth some fresh horrors by playing with nukes ourselves? Okay, I'm basing this entirely on one tiny shot of 3 friends playing some music together, but I think we'll find instruments all over the place. If you look at the building screen, you'll see that this campfire comes with its own built-in banjo, which suggests you can play more beyond the drum, tuba, and piano. How good would it be to play these out and about, annoying super mutants with comedy trombone blasts? I can but dream.
With the power of the atom at your fingertips.
I love that Bethesda are so self-aware that they have a reputation for making slightly dull, post-apocalyptic worlds that they've added a feature to a prequel that puts it squarely on your head. As if to say, well, you're responsible for all the destruction and chaos, video game playing person. This feels like a stroke of genius to me, although my inner base building enthusiast is also trembling in her boots. Once you find nuclear codes scattered about the map, and find others in the sequence, perhaps from other players, one can target a missile anywhere in the world. Yes, we can nuke each other out of our keds, but how many bases are there out there in the big wide map? How many codes can be found? How big is the bomb radius exactly, and will it devastate everything forever in that spot? Am I paranoid about this? One thing we did spot is that when our heroes explore Charleston after they drop a nuke in it, all the enemies appear to be highly radiated or glowing enemy types. Does this mean we'll be changing and mutating the enemies where we drop a bomb? Or were they there to begin with? I love the idea of changing the entire genetic makeup of one area of the map. Does the whole idea conflict with the concept of building a community after the Fallout? A little bit, or a lot bit. Is it an intriguing move on Bethesda's part? Certainly. So those are some of the things you may have missed in the Fallout 76 reveal. Got any theories of your own? Then pop them in the comments below. The game is out on PC on November 14th later this year, and we'll have loads more on the game between now and then. So why not subscribe to make sure you don't miss it, and hit the notifications bell while you're at it, so we can beam out videos right into your head whenever we make one. We hope to see you around these parts soon. Goodbye.